This is an Avery Dennison tech video that will focus on post-heating, why it's important, and tips for doing it correctly. The goal with any install is to get a professional finish that has high quality and long-term durability. However, long-term durability can be an issue even if the right wrap film was used and installed correctly, because it wasn't post-heated. By skipping post-heating on compound curves and recessed areas, there's a high chance that the wrap film will shrink over time, which will cause it to finger, lift, or pop out of recessed areas. This can lower quality and lead to costly reinstalls. To understand why this happens, it's important to appreciate the properties of the wrap film. When the wrap film is stretched with or without heat, the chemical makeup allows it to be very flexible and durable over time. However, these same chemicals have a property called the memory effect, which means the film, once stretched, will always want to go back to its original shape and tension. This energy in the wrap film is what causes fingering, lifting, or popping. But what can neutralize this memory effect dramatically is post-heating, and here is how to do it correctly. On this door handle area, you will see 3 examples of the importance of post-heating at the correct temperature. On this first example, the wrap film is formed in using the right material and methods, but instead of post-heating with an IR thermometer, the temperature level is simply guessed at. On version number 2, the same material and install methods, but this time an IR thermometer is used to post-heat. This particular heat gun has an IR thermometer built in, plus it automatically adjusts the output to the set post-heating temperature, which in this case is 130 degrees Fahrenheit. However, 130 degrees Fahrenheit is lower than the Avery Dennison's recommended temperature. This can be caused by not reading the product bulletin or by post-heating too fast. For version number 3, all the right steps are taken. Correct material and install methods, as well as using an IR thermometer with the correct post-heating temperature, which was maintained for the duration of the process. All 3 pieces were removed and tacked on a scaffold so they could hang tension-free. All 3 pieces show the shape of the door handle cup. Heat is now added to trigger the memory effect. The one where the temperature was guessed at, the memory effect is still present and it goes flat. For the door handle cup number 2, it goes flat as well. Versions 1 and 2 were heated but not post-heated, which means they have a high chance of popping or lifting. For door handle number 3, heat is added but the door handle cup remains. This means the memory effect was significantly reduced by post-heating at the right temperature. This will help ensure long-term durability and high quality. Based on this clear need to post-heat, here are the areas that should be post-heated on vehicles, with the main rule of thumb being on any area where the film was taken close to or past 10% stretch. Door handle cups, as well as compound curves on bumpers. Wheel areas if the material was fed completely inside. Deep recessed areas, especially if the film was bridged and formed in. Mirrors are critical areas since they receive so much direct sunlight, as well as severe compound curves on fenders, front and back, as well as raised areas on gas caps and tight compound curves commonly found on back fender areas. As essential as post-heating is to the wrapping process, key steps are required beforehand. First off, choosing the right film, as this will help reduce tension on critical areas. Second, using the proper install techniques that will help keep the wrap film below or close to 10%. In this case, applying the recessed areas first and the flat second. With Avery Dennison film, it's important to go over the critical areas after applying right away with heat and pressure. This will start the adhesive flow and help ensure a long-term hold. Keep in mind that this is not post-heating, simply warming the film. The proper post-heating temperature for the majority of Avery Dennison wrap films is between 175 and 195 degrees Fahrenheit. The laser should always follow the heat source, and the angle of the handheld IR thermometer should be at a 45-degree angle from the heat gun in order to get the most accurate reading. It's critical to be very thorough during this process and make sure that the temperature is above 185 degrees Fahrenheit the entire time. A good tip, especially for beginners, is to apply a large section with a scrap like this on a recessed door. Post-heat the critical areas, remove it, and try to trigger the memory effect. If it holds its shape, then it's been properly post-heated, which helps provide a clear example of the process and its importance in avoiding costly reinstalls. 2 critical tips for the post-heating process are: 1. Never let the laser lead the heat source, as this will create an inaccurate reading. And 2. With Avery Dennison wrap film, the installer needs to wait 30 minutes but no longer than 12 hours to post-heat. Post-heating too quickly can expand any air trapped underneath the film, which can cause it to burst through the surface. Therefore, a good tip is to apply the critical 10% stretch areas first, warm them, then work on other areas of the vehicle. Come back after 30 minutes, then post-heat. This will give the adhesive time to set up and the air to dissipate. Keep in mind that for severe compound curves commonly found on mirrors, a good way to stay close to 10% is to wrap in multiple pieces. Also, the focus of the post-heating should be on all stretched edges and, for extra safety, on the areas in the middle as well. This will help significantly reduce the memory effect even further. Also, it's very important to note that for all overlaps, the post-heating temperature needs to be around 220 degrees Fahrenheit. This is to ensure that the base layer reaches the minimum of 185 degrees Fahrenheit. This is especially critical to note for overlaps on recessed areas commonly found on vans. Along with using a heat gun for post-heating, IR heaters can be very effective, as they can cover large areas at one time. A steamer can post-heat as well, plus it's very safe, since its maximum temperature is generally 220 degrees Fahrenheit. However, it is extremely important to note that a propane torch cannot be used to post-heat. There are several reasons for this. With a flame, the heat source has to be in constant motion, which means it can take numerous passes on an area to even get close to the minimum temperature required to properly post-heat. During these passes, the flame can easily burn the surface, like, in this case, glossing the matte finish. Using a propane torch is slow, risky, and inaccurate, and so should be avoided at all costs. Lastly, keep in mind that the idea that it takes a long time to post-heat is a myth. A variety of 10% stretched areas were timed while post-heating, and here are the results. Keep in mind that the amount of these areas will vary by vehicle and the specific times multiplied by how many of each element are present, like 2 or 4 door handles. Regardless, the overall time to post-heat an entire vehicle is generally between 5 and 20 minutes. By thinking big picture and spending this 5 to 20 minutes post-heating at the end of the install, hours of costly reprints and removals and reinstalls can be avoided. A very simple but effective durability formula for wrapping should always be: clean correctly, choose the right wrap film and or lamination, use the proper technique, and post-heat. And here's the proper protocol. Step 1, form onto the substrate. Step 2, warm the area to start the adhesive flow. Step 3, wait 30 minutes but no longer than 12 hours. Step 4, post-heat with an IR thermometer. Extra tip, be super thorough. And once again, proper post-heating temperatures for the majority of Avery Dennison wrap films is between 175 and 195 degrees Fahrenheit. Overlaps should be around 220 degrees Fahrenheit. You should always post-heat any areas close to or past 10% stretch. And for additional information on post-heating, you can go to this URL and search for these specific product bulletins. This has been a tech video for Avery Dennison on post-heating. Proudly produced by the Wrap Institute.